This is a tour of Aplos, so we're going to show you around things like how you would get that accounting ready so that it's customized to your needs, raise money on the donation side, track your contacts, and then look at some reports too. So jumping right in, you'll get to the Fund Accounting Tools here by clicking Fund Accounting. And then this chart of accounts under the Accounts tab and Account List is where you're going to set up and customize your chart of accounts. So every nonprofit or church has their own customized chart of accounts depending on how they're tracking income, funds, how many bank accounts or credit cards, loans they have, and how you're tracking your expenses. So we make that super easy for you. Each account type you'll see is listed here. Here's assets, liability, equity, income, and expense. So these headers here are called account groups. I'm going to show you how those are valuable on the report side. Basically, they allow you to subtotal the accounts under any account group so you can see a snapshot of what your totals are between your three cash accounts, for example. You can make your asset or liabilities accounts a register, which allows you to record transactions register style. You can also set activity for these asset or liability accounts. So the activities used on the statement of cash flows report, which will group and total your cash operating, investing, and financing accounts. You have the ability to create parent accounts and then also sub-accounts. So you can record transactions to a specific sub-account in reports. You can view those sub-accounts broken out. If they are not, the report isn't formatted to view those sub-accounts specifically, everything will roll up to that parent account. So quickly adding an account is easy. You just click this green plus button under whichever account group you want that account to fall under. Give it a number, give it a name. This option is for a default fund. So if you have an account that every time you use it, it should go to a specific fund, selecting that default fund will just make the transaction entry one step easier for you. And then here is where you'd say make it a sub-account, and you would choose that parent account. So super easy to add those accounts so that you get your chart of accounts dialed in and ready for recording transactions. You can add funds up here. It will create the corresponding equity account here to track the balance. Once you've got that all nailed down, enter starting balances here for each asset and liability account. That will let you split those out by fund so that your total is the total of that bank's balance, but you can assign the separate fund balances here. So looking now at how you can start recording transactions, it's super easy to do in the register. You'll choose your register here if you have multiple, then select a date, a payee. This payee will pull from your contact list, which I'll show you in a minute, or you can add a new payee if they don't already exist. Put in the amount, whether it's a payment or a deposit. You can add a check number, select your account, and choose your fund. You have the option to split between multiple accounts and funds here. And as soon as you click submit, it's going to drop that transaction in your running register balance. So you'll have that balance update depending on the transactions that you're entering. So very easy data entry on the register side. This register area is where majority of the transaction entry happens with our customers. There are other options. You can create a journal entry. You can create a payable or a receivable and record payment on those. And then bank integration is also a popular feature where you would link your bank. It would pull in a list of recent transaction history. You'll choose the account and fund for each transaction, and then it will import to your register depending on what target register you choose. Then once you've entered all of your transactions for a month, you have a bank reconciliation feature which allows you to take your bank statement and match that with what's in Aplos so that you know, yes, what's in Aplos matches my bank statement, so my bank balance on my Aplos register is correct. So transaction entry is super easy. Again, this is just a high level of showing you the features. We have a team that can give you a more specific demo to show you what Aplos can do. You might have specific features that you want to see in action. We have a team that can schedule a time to show you around that. At the end of this demo, we have an ending survey that will ask you if you want to be contacted for follow-up information. Just select yes on that, and then I'll reach out to get you scheduled with one of our team members. So that is the transaction entry at a high level. I will go over reports in just a minute, but want to show you donations first. So purposes in Aplos are ways that you can receive donations. So each purpose can be linked to an income account and fund, and this makes it easy on the accounting side. So you'd record a donation, choose the cash account to record the deposit in, and each donation, depending on which purpose you choose, will apply to the income account and fund that you've set on that purpose. So what does that look like in action? Here under contributions, if I go to deposits, this is going to be the most popular entry form for like churches. Maybe after a Sunday service, you're entering your tithes and offerings, or for nonprofits, maybe you just had a big event. So you want to enter all the check and cash donations that you receive from that event. So you go here to the deposits page and click this green button. This lets you enter multiple donations at one time. Your total is going to show up here for how many donations you've entered, and then here is where you select that cash account to record the deposit. Here is where you choose that purpose, which we saw from the previous page. Those are individually linked to an income account and fund. So if I have a donation for general donations, maybe here at special gifts, and then a different one for my Haiti trip, then depending on which income account and fund I've linked here, those donations will apply to those specific accounts so that the income's recorded to that account, which is exactly how you need to track it. So you'll be able to, from this form, enter donor names. So let's say we're entering a donation given by me for $50. Then let's say someone else donated a special gift of $500, and then last, someone is donating to a Haiti trip $200. So you'll see here that's giving me my total of $750. Here it would show in my checking account. So if I post this, let me show you on the accounting side. Oops, forgot this. Demo batch. It requires a batch name, obviously. Click save. Now let me jump over to the accounting side and show you what that looks like. Here is my deposit of $750. But remember, my purposes are linked to different income accounts and funds. So here it splits the donation for me automatically, so I don't have to do that work. So just a nice link between the accounting and the donation side of things. It just lets you kind of kill two birds with one stone. Record your donations so that donation history links to your donor. That lets you easily generate a contribution statement, but also records it in the accounting for you. So just makes your life a little bit easier. Let me show you some reports. I'll start with a contribution statement. So we have a donations by contact report, which is here in our donations section. This is going to give you the history of donations. For the date selected, you can change this. It's going to land in just a summary view, but if you go here to report layout and click details, now it's going to show me how many donations created that total. So all I have to do to create my contribution statement is click this extra actions button, say print contribution statements, choose some options here, and then I'm going to click print. What that's going to do is it's going to give me a PDF for a statement for each person. It's actually a PDF of all of the statements, but they're one statement per person. So I just print this and mail it. You also have the option to email those statements, which just is a little bit of a money saver on the postage side. So anyone that you have email addresses for, you can email that statement. It'll tell you if anybody doesn't have an email address and then let you print the ones that do not have an email address. So that is the donations by contact report. A couple other reports that I want to show you are the income statement. So on the accounting side, we have these income statement. I'll show you a balance sheet too. You'll see here, if you remember, I talked about the account groups. So here is an account group, regular giving, and here are two accounts under that account group and the subtotal here of the total of these two. So those account groups are just helpful to give a subtotal of the group. You'll see here is a parent account and a sub account. So that will show you the total recorded directly to the sub account. But if my sub accounts were not showing in this report, which is an option here in my layout, then it would just, I'll show you, roll up to the parent account. Let me show you the balance sheet too. It's just the other accounts, the asset, liability, equity accounts. So it'll show me the balance of each asset, liability, and equity account here, and then my totals down here. So those are great reports. My favorite report, which I'll show you, is the balance sheet by fund. I love this report because if I add here my total column, this is going to show me my total for an asset account, but then break it out in the fund balances. So sometimes we get customers who are calling saying, my fund balance is off. Well, it could be that you've recorded transactions to the wrong fund, and this report is going to show you that very quickly. So it's just a great report for that fact finding, also to see how your different balances are split out by different funds. Okay, let me show you contacts. So here I'm going to click people and contact list. This is a running list of any vendors that I've recorded on the accounting side and any donors that I've recorded on the donation side. So it's going to give me their information. I can put a picture here. It's going to show me their gift history. And then I can see more things like dates, reminders, transactions, and if they've gone to any of my events. So it's just a nice contact card, a quick snapshot of how engaged this person is with your organization. You can use households to assign relationships. Those are also nice if you have any people who are linked together. Let's say you have a husband and wife in your contact list and you want to create a household for them. Maybe they've done donations separately, but you want to give them one contribution statement for their family. So you can put them under the household and then run a report to give you donations by household and print one contribution statement for that whole household. So that's a nice feature there. So basically, with Aplos, you are tracking accounting, tracking donations, tracking people. There are, one thing I forgot to show you is the online donation form, which makes it easy to collect donations online. Any donations received through this form will be automatically entered in Aplos and tracked on the accounting side. So you can customize your donation form. Let's say you want to put your logo there, put a headline. What it looks like at this point is you have an image and then a little bit of text here. The basic information that you'll get is first name, last name, and email address. You can also request a mailing address. So if you only mail your contribution statements, this is a nice bit of information to collect. You can make it required as well. They'll choose their donation amount or put in a custom amount, whether it's a one-time or a recurring gift. If it is recurring, they'll choose their schedule. And then they also have the option here to say that they want to pay the transaction fee. So any online processing, even if I'm buying something online from Amazon, is going to have a transaction fee taken out of it. So that's for the company who processes the transaction. So if a donor decided to pay that fee on your behalf, they're going to pay a little bit more than the amount that they've selected here to cover that fee. So you'd get 100% of the donation, and they'd pay a few dollars more to cover that transaction fee. The next page is going to give them the option to enter payment information, whether that's a credit card or bank account information, to process that donation. And again, once they complete this form, everything's entered on the donation side and tracked in the accounting. So it makes it very easy for you. All right, last but not least, before we get into a question and answer time, I want to show you our subscription page. So these are the different plans that are available through Aplos. We have initially the starting plan, growing plan, and established. If you are just starting out, then you can have 1 to 2 users with 50 contacts. That goes up if you need more users, more contacts as you go along. Each plan includes free support. So ways that you can contact us are clicking this little icon here that lets you send a message directly to our team. Here's all the beautiful people who are online currently. So you just would start a new conversation and let them know how you need help. We also have a support center that is listed here. That is a resource of articles that include videos, previously recorded webinars to show you different processes or answer questions about using Aplos. We also have an email address that you can shoot an email to. It's support@aplos.com, or a phone number that you call in to get questions answered as well. So basically, you'll choose your plan, and Aplos can grow with you. So we do have advanced features. So you might not need these features now, but as your nonprofit or church grows, these are features that can be added on at a later date. So as you get bigger, you might need ability to track multiple locations, track multiple budgets, things like that. So that is available to you as an upgrade. So you choose your plan and then click subscribe. At the top of your page, if you started your free trial recently and haven't hit those 15 days yet, you'll see a promo code that's available to you to offer 6 months at 50% off. All right, I would love to open things up for question and answer time. If you have any questions of features maybe that I didn't hit, then I'd love to show you that. Okay, Craig asks, can you show the expense tracking by fund feature? Absolutely. So let's say I'm entering a transaction in my register. I'll choose my expense account here. Let me choose one. And then this is where I'm going to select my fund. So select any fund here, and this is what's going to track your transaction by fund. So you'll see at the bottom of this page, you can ignore the negative balance. I'll clean that up at the end of this, but this is a fund balance graph for this specific register account. So this is saying of my $28,000, here's how it's split up by fund. So when you enter any transaction, a fund is always required. So that is what helps with the fund tracking. Then you can pull reports by fund. So looking at income statement by fund, this is going to let you see it either in a column view. So here it would show you your undesignated contributions broken down by specific fund. You can also view them as pages. So maybe you want a page per fund. Here's my general fund. It would give me an income statement for my general fund, an income statement for my missions fund, and my building fund. Great question. Another question is, how do you define a contact for monthly billing? Good question. A contact is a billable contact is anyone who exists in this contact list. You will have a running total here. So I'm at 35. I think it also shows it down at the bottom. Yeah, 35. So the number of contacts that live here are how many contacts you'll need for the subscription level you're in. Again, these contacts are created from people or companies that you've recorded as a payee on the accounting side, or as a donor on the donation side, or you could enter somebody in there manually. Maybe there's somebody who's interested in your organization and you want to get them on your mailing list. So they would count as a contact as well. So it's the number here on that contact list. What is the fee for donations? Good question. If you have your nonprofit status, then those are for credit card processing, 3% plus 30 cents. ACH is 2% plus 30 cents. And then American Express and International credit cards are a little bit higher. They're 4.1% plus 30 cents. Question, another one, can I invoice electronically through Aplos? Yes, you can. That would be on the receivable side. So you'll click Fund Accounting, Transactions, Accounts Receivable. So here you'd create your invoice. And then here, once you create that invoice, you have the option to email it. This is going to send the invoice to the contact and will require full payment of the invoice. All right, next a question here. For example, generate an invoice. Yep, that should answer that question, Mitch. If it doesn't, let me know. I can follow up. Question from Craig, how does the payroll integration work? Good question. Payroll is here, also in the Fund Accounting tab. We partner with a company called Gusto. They are a great payroll provider. They work with companies in the United States to process payroll. We use them for Aplos, so my payroll is processed through Aplos. And just from an employee standpoint, I have my own portal to log in and track my hours, request vacation from my manager, things like that. I also can do things like manage my deductions from, how my IRA split up, things like that, even my healthcare benefits. So with Gusto, you would sign up. It's $39 plus $6 for every employee. Then you'd run your payroll through Gusto. And once you run that pay run, then that will come in as a journal entry to enter in Aplos. So the journal entry is all formatted for you. All you have to do is say, yes, save it as a journal entry in my accounting. So it's super easy. Run your payroll in Gusto, approve the journal entry to add it to your accounting. So I do highly recommend looking at Gusto if you're looking for payroll. If you sign up by clicking this button, you'll get 3 months free. So you have to go through this form because it's on the back end linked to tell Gusto this is someone coming from Aplos. So give them 3 months free. So definitely look into Gusto. Alrighty. Do you have an interface with PayPal to download automatically? We do on the donation side. So if you receive donations through PayPal, then you would link that here on the partners page. One thing to point out is partners are only available in the growing plan and above. So going back to that subscription page, here partner integrations starts at the growing plan and above. It is not included in the in the starting plan. So you would link your PayPal account to bring in those donations. It works very similarly to bank integration, where you would have a running list of what needs to be imported and be able to import those that way. All right, last question here. A question on permissions. Can I give an administrative assistant Aplos access to Aplos to update donor database, but keep her profile from viewing financial information. Yes, you definitely can do that here on the users page. You have different roles that you can give a user. You can choose multiple, but it sounds like you're looking for somebody to enter donations but not see the accounting side of things, which would be this donor management manager. It could also be the donations manager. Donor management manager would give access to like send email campaigns. So if you want somebody just to enter donations, let them link them to accounting, see the contacts and reports, but not see any accounting information, then this would be the role for you to give them. The administrator has full access to the entire software. A manager has access to everything but the settings tab, and the settings tab is where payment information, subscription, all of that, adding users lives. Accounting manager is access to accounting only. Donations manager is access to donations only. A full auditor is read-only access to everything. Accounting auditors read-only access to just accounting. Contact manager just lets somebody see the people list, only the contact list there. Donor management manager is access to record donations, view those reports and that on the contact side, but also send emails and things like that, generate letters. And then a web builder is only able to do the website. Last couple questions and then we'll wrap up. Is there a way to import from Planning Center, QuickBooks, etc.? We do have an option for importing from QuickBooks. It is at the base level, more of a kind of a data dump. For lack of a better term, you'd be able to export information from QuickBooks and we can import it for you. I'll send you information on that. If you're looking on the Planning Center side to import donations, here there is an importer for contributions. You'd import the individual contributions and be able to batch those. So that's here, the importer is here. All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all your questions. I love when there's a lot of questions because it feels a little bit more interactive. So that's all we have for today. I have these questions that if there's more information that I can send you via email, I will, whether that's resources, things like that. Once we end this, you will have a pop-up come up for a closing survey. That's going to give you the ability to say, I'd like to be contacted for more information. So let us know because we do follow up with you. That's a promise. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I hope that this helped to show you if Aplos would be a good fit for your nonprofit or church to help with whatever solution you're looking for. If you have any more questions, put them in the exit survey. I will follow up. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Have a great day.